love this game. It's fantastic. You should go out and buy it. If you love Dark Souls or Bloodborne, just buy it. Don't even hesitate. Anyway, this is episode 43 called Opinions Are Like Assholes. Everybody has one. I'm doing this. It's kind of early in the day. I got a little bit of a cherry Dr. Pepper. Taking a little sip of that. Please join me at the Gaming Roundtable. Get you a mug of whatever you like to drink if you're able. And remember, I am the gamer that tells you the way it is. And I am playing the Surge, but I'm playing this because I kind of want to talk about an experience I just had recently at a GameStop. And, kind of want to talk about that. And, little take his arm real quick. Essentially what happened was I was at a GameStop, and I went there. I just stopped in. I had a $10 off coupon, and I got Battleborn, which, again, I think Battleborn is an amazing game. It's my opinion. It is not an Overwatch ripoff. They don't play anything alike, look anything alike, or even feel the same. They are not. It is not a ripoff, and it came out before Overwatch. There you have it. Paladins is more Overwatch than anything, even though its gameplay is a little bit different. But the manager said GameStop I frequent a lot. He'll remain nameless, but he's a really cool guy. He's into games, and one of the things that he has said about me was, he said, it's funny, you buy a lot of games that most people don't buy, and he said, I kind of value your opinion on them because you give a lot of other games a chance, like games like Earthdawn and of course, any of the Dynasty Warriors, and other games that I own. And I was the only one that had pre-ordered the Surge. The only one, because I had been following the game because I'm a big fan of Deck 13. Some people have been saying that Focus Interactive made this game. No, they did not. Focus Interactive is the publisher. Let's get this right, people. If you got a reputable website, Focus Interactive published it. Deck 13 made it. Deck 13 also made Lords of the Fallen, another one of my favorite games, which I have not beaten once, but 6 times. It's a great game. I love it. It's Dark Souls-like type game, too. And I love... Okay, and before I make this statement, I want to tell you this much. Bloodborne is one of my favorite games. I feel like it's From Software's version of Castlevania. That's exactly how I feel about it. Castlevania, the early games were really tough games, hard to beat, things that did a lot of damage to you. You got weapons and all this other stuff. And, again, it's in a gothic setting. I kind of feel like that's what Bloodborne is in a lot of ways. The Surge has something in common with Bloodborne with its faster gameplay that's based less on defense and more on aggressive attacking and patterns that you see here. I'm trying to stun lock him, and now I'm going to get his arm again. Boom, down you go. One of the things that I talk about to this guy, and he was talking to me, and he asked me my opinion. He says, this manager says, so, Juiceman, what is, how do you feel about it? Tell me, what, and I said, well, the Surge, I said, honestly, is a much improved, it has improved upon the gameplay systems that are in place set forth from Software. It has Bloodborne-style combat that's fast and aggressive. It has the Lords of the Fallen thing where you can take a couple hits, although there are some enemies I have faced in the game that just 2-hit and done. So it kind of skates that line. But you can take a few hits as long as you've upgraded your gear. I said it almost has a Monster Hunter-like vibe in a way, because you are taking body parts and using those for upgrades if you attack certain things. I said, which is really cool. I said the idea of being able, and I said this in another previous video, to be able to target lock onto certain parts would be so awesome in games like Dark Souls and Bloodborne, where you could be like, oh, that guy's got a cool shield, I'm going to attack his arm, and then I get his shield. That would be badass. That's not in the game, but there you go. And I said, it basically takes everything From Software has done up to this point and improves upon it. Like, hands down. It improves upon the gameplay. They refined this system, these systems, And to me, my opinion, that The Surge is a better game than anything From Software has put out up until this point. There. I've said it. If you're a Dark Souls fanboy or Bloodborne fanboy, go fuck yourself. It's my opinion. You can agree to disagree. That's how I feel about it. And I have put, by the way, hundreds of hours into Bloodborne. I have bought the DLCs. It is one of my top, it's in my top 10 favorite games, and I've never done that video yet, but it's in the top 10 favorite games of all time. I've also put in a ridiculous amount of time into Dark Souls 1, and I have played Dark Souls 2 extensively. I dislike that game. And I've said, and I've given my reasons why. Because the combat, the whole game was focused more on the difficulty of the game and less about everything else that Dark Souls is, because the director of it was not the same person. He focused too much on the difficulty. He focused too much on, like, hey, Dark Souls and its risk-reward system. Do I go forward, get to the bonfire? Do I go back, but then everything's going to respawn? Of course, now in Dark Souls 2, everything you kill after a certain time, they never come back. So there's large portions of that game, by the way, that are empty. So there's no danger at all. Wow. Brilliant, you know. Dark Souls 3, I have yet to purchase. And I actually plan on picking it up tomorrow because I want to play that game because it has the Bloodborne style combat, and I want to see what Dark Souls 3 is all about. And there has been differences of opinions on that too. But I digress. When I said this in the GameStop, there was another gamer in there looking at PS4 stuff, and this gamer decided to interject in the conversation. And in no uncertain terms, obviously, he was a huge fan of From Software's work and the Souls series and Bloodborne, which is an extension of that. And he basically told me that he thought I was full of shit. Without saying you're full of shit, but that's what he was saying. I read between the lines, per se. And I was sitting there, you know, asking myself, like, okay, well, this guy is, you know, he, again, entitled his opinion. But the problem was not in the way he presented it. He basically was trying to say that what I was saying was that there's no way I was right. Now, this guy has not played The Surge. And I asked this person, the gamer, if he's played The Surge. And I basically stated, I said, look, I said, you haven't played the game. I have. I've been playing through it, right? This is a new build I'm doing of this character. And I said, until you play that, this game, I was like, you can't have an opinion about it. Because if you've never played it and all you've seen is gameplay, even seeing gameplay does not do it justice. You have to play the game. And I said, I didn't say that The Surge was a better game than Bloodborne or Dark Souls. I said that it improved upon the style of that game. It improved upon its systems, and it's a better game for it. Not better than, but a better game for it. That I wish that I could go back and play Dark Souls and Bloodborne and target lock enemies and be able to do these finishers and get, like, knock off, you know, let's say a knight's left leg and get that armor piece and use that to upgrade instead of using Titanite shards and all the other crap that Dark Souls throws in there for upgrading and all that stuff. That's what I would much rather see, because this is innovative in a sense. Now, again, I like to point out that, you know, it's sort of, you know, similar to Monster Hunter in that respect, that you do pick up parts for Monster Hunter, but this one you physically, you know, you knock their limbs off and stuff. And in Monster Hunter, yeah, you knock their limbs off and then you do the thing and they grow them back. But it has a similar vibe to that. Another thing that I said while we were debating, and again, opinions are like assholes. Like, he basically was also trying to tell me that I didn't have a right to that opinion, because I hadn't played Dark Souls 3. And I said, well, I played the other games, so I do have an opinion. I do have a right to that because I have played through the other From Software titles, and I put a lot of time in, years ago on the PS1 on Kingsfield, which is basically From Software, and there's some elements of Souls in that game, and it's kind of where it started. And it's actually there's some hints around here that it's actually kind of part of the lore. It's really interesting in that regard. There's this guy here. Dodge out of the way. Let me fight him real quick, and I'll continue. Could kick him. Knocked him down. See, and that's so nice to be able to take an enemy, and again, stuff that you cannot do in From Software's game, because most of the weapons have some kind of combo that knocks the enemy down. They're boom, oh shit, I'm on the ground, which gives you an opening. Again, that crazy strategic combat. Another thing that I found out in this game real quick was one of the mods you get is every time you perform a finisher, there's a couple mods, you get your health back. You get health back. Now, this does not have that regenerating system of health like Bloodborne has, where if you get attacked, if you attack immediately back, you get the health back. I kind of wish this had that, but it's really not either there because there's mods that do basically the same thing that's very similar, so you get that later on. One of the things that this guy, though, you could tell he was a huge fanboy. He was really, really butthurt over the fact that I had said that I felt like that the Surge, its systems were they improved upon the game that From Software basically had created, the genre. And I find myself like okay, well, why would you be so upset about it? If you don't like my opinion, that's fine. I may disagree with yours, but let's agree to disagree. There's no reason for you to sit there and defend that game, because the games are successful. Nothing you do is going to make them any more successful. It's not like, oh, this guy defended them. From Software doesn't even know who the fuck you are, just like Deck 13 doesn't know who the fuck I am, right? It's no different from me when I talked about the Technomancer, and I talked about how the Technomancer is this amazing game that nobody bought, that has better animation than almost every AAA title out there, because of the Silk engine they use, which is specifically designed to offer this 60 frame, very smooth, very sleek, motion captured kind of stuff. It's done so well. It's got the same level of animation and the same details where his hands open up and you see his fingers grip and all the stuff that you don't even hardly see in some of the games that are AAA out there. It's amazing that people just shit all over that game. I don't even want to get into that because Technomancer is one of the better games that's out there. Does it have the best voice acting? Not really. But it has this really cool lore. People were actually mad that, Zachariah Mancer? Why is he Zachariah Mancer? That's lazy. No, the lore is that names actually are your station in life in the game. It was established in Mars War Logs, right? So if you play Technomancer and you're a scientist and you might be a chemist, you might be Sam Chemist. It's just part of the lore in the station. I think that's cool. That's brilliant. It helps define what you are in this game. Let's see here. I'm gonna take this guy's. I'll just do body here. Let's see here. Let me get rid of this guy real quick and I'll continue. But gotta heal. Kind of got me. Alright. The other guy can't hit me while I'm in this animation, which is nice. Oh man, I'm gonna better heal. Let's see here. What's he got that's not protected? I'm gonna hit a blue area so I can get rid of him faster. Take his arm anyway. But anyway, I digress. So my point is, and again, weapon proficiency. Good God, I thought that's brilliant. Like, I actually get better with the weapon as I use it. That makes sense. That's very realistic. If a 10-year-old child is learning to use a sword from a sensei, martial arts guy, at age 20, if he keeps up with it and he's still using the sword, he's going to be proficient with it and be a badass. That's the idea. You don't have any of that. You can upgrade weapons in the Soul series, but you don't get better with them. And when the weapon proficiency system in here is set up like this, you get better with them, you're a little bit faster, a hair more damage. You actually become more proficient with them. It's a really good system. It just is. You know, it's very, very much worth your time to actually do it. You know, it just is. Let's see here. It's 19 proficiencies. I got some weapons. Here's my broken parts that I've collected. Let's do these consumables. But what I was saying, though, essentially was that this guy was really, really unhappy with the fact that he thought that I was shitting all over his games that he loves. And I wasn't. I basically just stated that the Surge took the Souls formula and improved upon its systems with the way you upgrade stuff. It's based on the parts that you sever from things' limbs. You don't need anything else. The fact that that's a much more self-contained and easier way of doing things. Instead of having to kill this guy and find this Titanite shard and get so much of this and do that and go through a roundabout way just to improve your fucking weapons. Bloodborne has the same problem. You know, yes, you get these weapons, and yes, you find these, you know, these items, these blood things. I can't think what they're called. But anyway, I should know it, but name escapes him right now. These blood tinges or whatever, and you use that blood shards to increase your weapon's capabilities, right? And there is weapon durability, and you have to repair them. This does not have weapon durability, thank God, because I think weapon durability systems are shit. I just don't like them. I think if they're done in a way that's smart, then they're fine. That's manageable. You know, Dark Souls has that, Bloodborne has it, but not everybody does it that way. I still don't find it. I really would rather not have to deal with it. I look at it like, you know, you gotta have. Let's see here. Got the legs. I need to get my arms built for my rig. I still need to get some stuff to do that. Let's see here. I can upgrade my staff. Or do I want to switch over to my... I'm actually going to switch over to my... that instead. And I'm going to gear assemble. And I think I'm going to upgrade my vibroblade here. Let's do that. And make it a MK2 to do more damage. There we go. I'm going to go over here to the med bay. I'm going to go ahead and increase my core power to 15th level. I got an implant slot unlocked, which is fantastic. I can do that, but I don't have any implants currently to do that. But my point was that I'm trying to make here, people, is the fact that, you know, you just you know, to get so butthurt over my opinion is like, it's just, to me, ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know, there's really no reason to get butthurt over that. You know, there just isn't. There's no reason to be upset about that. And I find myself not really understanding why. So make that black or make it blue, make it black. I'm not really sure why this person decided to interject, and it never really got heated, but what it did do was it made me go, this guy got really, really upset over the fact that I would even say something like that. You know, like, why would you be so upset about it? You know, like, you actually felt like you had to interject in a conversation that you were not a part of, and down you go. Like, you had to, like, interject into a conversation that you were not a part of, and basically try to shut me down and say that I was full of shit, and like, how dare you say anything about one of my favorite games? And I find myself like, I don't even want to deal with you gamers out there that won't allow people to have a difference of opinion. Like, you have to defend your game. Like you made it or something. You didn't make the fucking game. They don't care if you defend it or not. You know what they care about? Did you buy it? Yeah, we got your money now. Thank you. We don't care if you buy anything else. That's basically what the situation is when it comes down to it. And I just don't, I mean, and again, this guy, you could tell talking to him that he was pretty upset that I even said anything negative about the game, but I wasn't saying anything negative about Souls or Bloodborne. And again, I've put lots of time in those games, lots of times, and I just don't get why, and I like those games. I own them. I own the digital copy of Bloodborne and its DLC. I own the digital copy on my 360 of Dark Souls. I have the digital copy of Dark Souls 2. I just hadn't bought 3 yet because I wanted to wait for it to drop in price a little bit. That's all. Save a little money, No biggie. No biggie. But to sit there and be really upset and not allow and be not want to deal and you could tell this person was kind of, he was getting upset because I basically stated this about the Surge, that I feel like they took the Dark Souls systems and they improved upon them. Like, they took something that was already really good and improved upon the formula. I wish I could target limbs and unarmored parts in Dark Souls and Bloodborne. I wish that I could target, like, whatever weapon, whatever enemy's carrying, and get said weapon. I wish I could do that. That would be great. I wish I had that system in play. I don't, but I wish I did, because it would just be glorious to be just those two things alone. But Surge does a lot more than that, than just improve upon the formula. Even in its world design, honestly. Because, Dark Souls and Bloodborne has a lot of, like, gates and areas that loop back onto each other, right? Like these shortcuts, it's called. Surge does the same thing. The difference is that this whole area right here, this little area I'm in right now, believe it or not, there are 3 shortcuts that all lead back to my little base here, where you do your upgrading and you can, like, level up your character, like your tech points, which is basically your souls. 3, no less than 3. And I think that's really cool because, this gives you, instead of just having one pathway, like, oh, I gotta get back to that shortcut so I can go do the thing and heal, like in the Souls series, this is like, hey, I'm somewhere, but I know there's 3 ways to get back. And so regardless of where I go, there's always going to be some route to get back. It's not going to be just one route, which would be the main one and then a shortcut. It's literally the main one and 3. That's brilliant. Like, to have additional world options like that is really cool. Like, I just think that's great. That I have that option. I think that's great. And being able to do that is great. These guys are going to get me. There's too many of them. There he goes again. It's gonna hurt. It's hard. It is tough, by the way, fighting multiple enemies in this game. I can switch targets, but because so much of the game has they have very erratic patterns of attack. It can be difficult to deal with it. Gotcha. Oh crap. Oh, he was actually still like in a swinging animation. But that's my point. It's like all I said was they took a formula, they took gameplay systems and improved upon Souls and Bloodborne systems. Every game company out there does this. At some point, some game that comes out that's kind of like the standard turns around and another game company wants to do something like it. Eventually, they improve upon it. So many games have done this. case in point, Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry is an excellent game series. I happen to really like 2, and a lot of people don't like Part 2, but I really like Part 2. That's a whole nother, video. But one of the things is that I think it's funny about that is the fact that God of War came along, which has a very similar combat, but they improved upon it. And then Platinum Games came along with Bayonetta and those games and improved upon that formula. Everyone always eventually improves upon this stuff, and it's really cool that it just happens, It's going to happen. Souls has this really well-designed formula. And having this really well-designed world and formula, at some point someone was going to come along who were fans of that formula. Deck 13 were big fans of the Souls game and wanted to do something similar but different. And they did that with Lords of the Fallen, which, again, Lords of the Fallen is an amazing game. It's probably $8 or less. It's amazing. It's a great game. Buy it. And at some point, this was going to happen. It's no different than Injustice 2. They took a fighting game, that Mortal Kombat style fighting, but they put a Diablo style loot system in it with leveling and all this other stuff, and put those roleplay mechanics in. Street Fighter and all other fighting games before it are now boring because, I just win. I get nothing for winning. I just get a win. And Injustice, wow, I got some loot. I can look different. I got these different stuff. I got the metaverse. I got all this stuff. Yeah, they've improved upon the fighting game formula just by adding those roleplay mechanics. And what this game did was take the same route. They added the systems where you can sit here and be like, wow, there's a enemy. See, that knocked him down. It's great. I didn't get a chance to get his part. Neither here nor there. Proficiency increased. Go up here. And to sit there and be able to improve upon... I already done this. Never mind. To improve upon a formula is fantastic, for them to do that. And for me to state that they took... I wish, and to make that statement, I wish the Souls games and those like it would do what this game does. And for this guy, and the look in his eyes, he just had this real aggressive kind of stance towards me. And I was like, dude, chill, but that's the problem. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Everyone has one. And that's a shame, because there's no sense in getting butthurt over something like that. Because what it was he basically assumed I was shitting on the game series he's like, when he didn't realize that, I obviously have played these other games and really like them, and own them, and it's the truth. And I find that kind of funny that's basically what happened here. And it's just funny to me. It's just like, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Everyone is entitled to it. It's no different than Jim Sterling's Zelda review. It's no different than anything else. But you should not get so hurt by that. You just shouldn't. Because it's pointless to be hurt by something like that. It just is. Because you're so upset about it, and yet you could be at home playing the games that you so love, but instead you want to bitch at people at GameStop. You want to probably rant and rave on a video about it. You want to do a vlog about it, a vlog. You probably are mad, so let me do this. Let me do this game, and instead of playing the game, I'm gonna spend more time bitching about somebody else's. You see me, I'm playing the Surge. I'm not bitching about, whatever, this or that. And this is it's just really, all I'm saying. I just really feel like it's fine that you think one way, but to come at me at a GameStop, I don't know you from Adam, and to come at me very aggressively and basically tell me that I'm essentially full of shit because I feel one way about this game than others. And everybody knows I'm a big science fiction guy. You're done. It has really nothing to do with the fact that I do prefer science fiction over fantasy. I know these systems really well. I know the formula for how souls work. I know how all this is, and to me, it's like to see this performance, to see it done even better, or at least not better, but what I'm saying, like improved upon, is really cool, because now if From Software, and competition breeds good games, just like any competition. It's no different years ago watching, wrestling in WCW and WWE, or WWF, when WWE, they were fighting back and forth and they were trying to outdo each other, and it was crazy. But now that WWE has no competition, they fucking suck. They've sucked since CM Punk left, and that's really what's happened to that game series. And see, here's another little thing. I couldn't open the door from that side, but I can here, so that's one little bitty simple shortcut. And I'm going to come over here, and again, this is also another shortcut. There's one more that I'll show you too, which led me back here. This is kind of neat, the way they did this. And proficiency increased. And I think it's interesting, as a gamer. There's something over here. I've got a little mod that lets me know when there's like hidden items nearby, which is pretty cool. This is actually one of the areas that leads you to the first, the first kind of mini boss. There we go. Pick that up. Reinforced pipe. I don't need it. It is kind of it's the reinforced pipe is still a single. It's a staff, but this was my staff that I got through DLC when I pre-ordered. It's much better. But this is really what I'm going to leave you gamers with. While I go back to my little base here and turn in my scrap. The thing is, we as gamers have to remember that we all love different games. We all love it. I think one of my opinions about Deus Ex Human Revolution in 2011, it was, to me, the best game released that year. No game was better than it. No game. I don't care what anybody says. I will agree to disagree with you. If you don't feel that way, you're entitled to your opinion. I disagree. Deus Ex had everything going for it. Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which I'm playing through, again, came out last year. Yep, best game of last year, hands down. Nothing is better than Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Why? Because it is a whole nother video about that, because it's just simply amazing. And and it's not because I have always liked the Deus Ex series. It has a lot to do with the fact that it's pretty much every game combined, and every game combined done well. So, and it's just and it's thought-provoking game too, which is what I like, a thought-provoking game. But anyway, if you like a game per se, and you really enjoy it, and someone comes along and may not have the same opinion of you, or might even think some game does some things better than it because it's similar, which is where I'm getting at with this. The point is that don't be a fucker, man. Don't be a fucking asshole and be like, what? How dare you say something like that? And then you have to get all shit uppity with this person and whoever made the opinion, and then you gotta go make a vlog about it and go YouTube about it, or even what Jim Sterling faced and got DDoSed and all this crap because he had a difference of opinion. You're a dick. You bring the whole gaming community down. You bring it all down to the ground. I don't even want to associate with you as a gamer. Like, hey, you want to play a game? No, fuck you. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't need your help. I don't want your opinion. Because you shouldn't attack people. You should not attack people for a difference of opinion. It's just like the stupid elections and the politicians. They do the same thing. They have a difference of opinion, so they spend the whole election trying to tear each other down. Just agree to disagree and say, I may not agree with this person, but I am not going to personally attack this person or any of his policies or her policies, because that's what you should do. The American people would be like, wow, this guy or girl is actually legit and won't cause a big fuck storm to try to get our votes, because that's all they're trying to do, is get our votes to win. They will say anything they can do to win. And in the gaming community, people are like that. The Overwatch community is so poisonous because they think that Overwatch is the greatest, best ever. Nothing will ever be better than it, than maybe the sequel. No shooter, no multiplayer shooter will ever be better than it at all. Never. Like, Overwatch is a 11 out of 10, you know, because, and yet it is while it is a very good game and feels fun to play, it has limited modes, not many maps. You right? It had very little content to boot when it launched, where other games got shit on for having a lack of content. Overwatch absolutely did not. You know why? Because all these fucking review sites that get paid to do it not only got free $60 copies of the game, they got revenue, advertisement, all that shit. No way anybody was going to shit on the game, or at least give it an honest review. I would have given that shit a 7 out of 10. You know why? Because Overwatch is, while fun, after you play the 2-3 game modes, that's all it has. It's boring. I don't want to do that shit over and over and over and over again. Give me something else to play. I was happy to see the fact they put some kind of like story kind of campaign thing in there. Again, you had to fucking buy the shit, but the point is that they should have done that in the first place. I like Battleborn because at least Battleborn had a shit ton of content. Had a couple more characters, several ways to unlock stuff, a gear loot system that when you got these crystal shards in the game, you can then activate said gear anywhere from white, green, blue, legendary, epic. You know, it had several game modes. It had a story mode. You could play solo, you could play with people. It had a lot more content for the money. The only thing that sucks about it is that you have to be online to play it. There's nothing you can do, even if you're playing solo, offline. You're screwed. That's the only thing I disagree with it. But anyway, people shit all over that game. And like I said, it's an opinion. It's an opinion. Everyone's entitled to it, just like we all have assholes. Anyway, thanks for joining the Gaming Roundtable. This has been episode 43. I encourage you, if you are a Souls fan, to go out and pick up the Surge. Retailing $59.99. You might be able to find it used for $54.99 at your local GameStop, or even cheaper online. I encourage you, if you are a Souls fan, to try this game. It might make you say, wow, I wish those other games did that. Thank you again for joining the Gaming Roundtable. Please like my video. Please tell your friends. Please subscribe. I would really appreciate it if you would do that. Please check out my Juice Man's Juice Man 3941's Gaming Roundtable on YouTube. And as always, gamers, you know, good gaming.